when did we last do a podcast like this? We've not done a video podcast properly before, have we?
We've done one, but it was back end of last year, November-ish, October. So it was, it was a while ago.
So I thought we'd start with really interesting topic about kind of being bold enough to share what you know. And the reason I say this is because you did your first proper kind of public talk last month.
Yeah.
You've obviously ins and outs of social media all day, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. You knew what you were talking about. What was that kind of shift like for you in terms of now I've got to tell other people about what I know?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. I think it was the way we did it, because obviously we did it in the very sort of conversational format with it being like a Q&A. That helped me because it was, being able to just bounce off questions rather than have to prepare something per se. But I think it also helped the audience because they were able to get sort of involved, and rather than me trying to guess what they might want to know, it was quite literally answering whatever questions they actually threw at us. So that aspect of it, I think, worked well. For me, it's being able to kind of articulate it, I think, because obviously I've been doing this for just over a year now, so it's been this absolute jigsaw kind of in my head, and I know what all the pieces are, but it's then being able to get it out in an articulate way so that other people can kind of take those pieces and put it together themselves, sort of thing. So that was kind of the challenge, but I think we more or less got there.
Yeah. And just thinking about that jigsaw piece, that social media constantly changes. What has been like for you the biggest bit that like they're kind of like, oh, why did I not see this before kind of thing?
So I think for me, the thing that's the most, not surprising, but things that work that you wouldn't even think about, sort of that's the how I would categorize it. So obviously you've got things like your visuals and hooks and things like that, and that's stuff that everyone kind of knows.
The internet talks about that stuff all the time.
But there's little tweaks that you can make with sort of file names and things like that. You would like, why would what you call a file make any difference to how well it does on YouTube, for example? But it does. If you there's obviously the knack of, if you name something in the same sort of title or the hook or whatever it is that you're going to be sort of pushing it, the algorithm picks it up more naturally. It's kind of another way of drilling into it what it's about. So I mean that was a big one, because we really saw a difference. I think I know there are only sort of small numbers in the grand scheme of things, but YouTube Shorts for us have been going from 150 to 500 views to comfortably 500 to now quite frequently 1,500. And that was since we changed to that kind of format. So it undoubtedly works, and it's one of those things that
just changing the file name of the video. Like instead of it being like finalvideo.mp4, exactly, it's like how to get clients on LinkedIn.mp4, and you get more views.
Yeah, I mean, if you name a file, whatever your hook is, and then obviously the hook, the more sort of uniformed it all is, where the file's named exactly the same thing as you're going to call the short. I haven't actually played around with putting the hashtags in the file name, but the actual title itself, it's just kind of like putting a label on it before you even put it out there.
And one of the things that has been interesting with our little experiments with YouTube has been how followers really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it's irrelevant. Or subscribers rather.
Yeah, subscribers on YouTube definitely, but the that kind of idea remains the same throughout most platforms. TikTok followers mean very little after the first couple of weeks. Obviously, we found that if you start a TikTok account, then you are kind of shadow banned to start with, whether it's verification or whatever. But once you've got past that stage, you can get 1 million views on a video.
And interestingly, because obviously we've started another TikTok channel, And I'm going to load it now. It's going to blur out some random TikTok probably. So this new TikTok video, the TikTok account, is what, a week old?
If that, yeah.
So it's a week old. First video, 16 views. Second video, 12 views. Third video, 478 views. Fourth video, 1,162 videos. Fifth video, I lost my count then. Fifth video, 1,268. Sixth video, 9,648. And we kind of knew exactly what we were doing with this account. We knew exactly why, how it would go up, what would make it blow up. I have 32 followers.
Yeah.
It's like,
And do you know what? I'd be surprised if all of those 32 have actually seen that video with nearly 10,000 views, because it really makes no odds. We found with our YouTube experiment that we've got accounts with 4 or 5 subscribers and they're getting a couple of thousand of views.
yeah, there's one I've seen with 5 subscribers and 20,000 views in the last 28 days or whatever the stat is.
Yeah.
And I guess we obsess about followers. And I get it. You know, I like to see follower counts going up or subscriber counts going up, but they don't mean anything. In terms of like, if I had 1 million followers, would I get more views? Maybe. It's not the kind of gold-plated guarantee that it used to be.
No, and obviously, however many years, well, probably not even years ago, but a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe maximum, you were getting, if you refreshed your newsfeed on any platform, you were going to see the accounts that you followed.
Mhm.
And I couldn't even tell you which account started it. It was probably, TikTok's probably been the biggest reason why this has happened with the For You page rather than the followers tab. The algorithm does it all for you. It's all AI driven, that if you like something or if you interact with something or whatever other the sort of measurements it has, if it's something that would interest you, it will find a way to show it to you, whether you follow them, whether you have ever seen it before or not. It will find its way onto your screen.
So this, for me, when I said this to some people, they were like, oh. And I'm like, this is a massive opportunity. Like, this is actually a level playing field. If somebody had like 100,000, maybe not 1 million or millions, you know, if you're a celebrity, anything you do goes nuts. But if you're like, I don't know, 5,000 followers or 500 or 10,000 or 20,000, it makes zero difference. Zero difference. That for me goes, hang on a minute. This is a massive opportunity right now because it's a level playing field. Sure, it's not as easy as you might think, but actually you could do really well capturing like a niche audience. And I proved this with one of my Instagrams, right? I have an Instagram. I don't know whether have you seen my other Instagram?
I have seen your other Instagram.
So I have another Instagram, right? Not my Dean one, a really niche one. We'll not go into the details of it, right? So my niche Instagram, right? My last post got 16,000 impressions. Yeah. Then one before that, 3,000. The one before that, 20,000, 4,000, 1,900, 6,500. I'll just show you another one. I got 478,000 on another. Everything I post on that kind of niche, highly focused, highly targeted account goes nuts. But on my Dean one, it doesn't, because nobody, you know, it's just Dean being Dean and sharing Dean. It's like everybody there has a personal connection with me. So you could argue it's deeper connections, but less. But this one that's like niche topic, like really goes berserk because it's got die-hard followers, like die-hard people interested. I think that's going to be something like really going for like, can I get a die-hard community going?
Yeah, and I think that's obviously where we've seen the rise in sort of themed accounts, I guess, across the board. It doesn't matter what the theme is. If it's, you know, if the niche is so obvious that it's kind of all power to you, because that's kind of, you know what your audience is, and as you say, it's kind of that niche audience that's kind of hooked onto you straight away. Whereas if it's like a, you know, as we said with your personal account, we do have a niche, but we touch on alternative topics as well, and it's your personal Instagram. So to have something that's so targeted that does not go out of the confines of what it is that it's literally there for, only serves one purpose.
And this goes against a lot of the advice that influencers would say, because influencers would say, go broad and then narrow down. And that's what they tell you to do. That's what they do. But yet, actually, all the accounts I have that blow up are really focused on one topic, very narrow.
Yeah, I think this is the shift that we're seeing, because I think that did work. That the whole broadening and sort of funneling down into whatever your core fan base was going to be, that did used to work. Factually, we've seen so many people do it. But now, because it's like we're kind of cutting out the middleman, so to speak, we don't need to. That funnel is kind of irrelevant, because the algorithms and the AI that's involved is so smart that it knows what you like before you have to sort of funnel down into anything. So that will be targeted to the exact right people pretty much straight away. And as soon as they interact with you, they'll see it again. And the second they scroll past you really quickly, they probably won't see you for a while. So that's the danger of going broad, is that the sort of the key audience that you want to see what you're putting out, if they see something they like, great, because then they'll see it again the following day or the day after or whatever. But as soon as they kind of go, actually, no, that's not for me, they're gone.
And I did that on my special Instagram, right? I actually did, because obviously I put stuff out there, and it doesn't matter how often I post either. Like, this is the weird thing about it. Sometimes I've gone like 3 months without posting, and then I post it, right? But I did, do you remember when was it me, you and Luke went to Miami, or did you not go?
I wasn't on that.
Right. So I did a post, I did all my usual posts that go berserk. So the post before it got 825 likes, 73 comments, and 3 shares, right? The post I did where I actually deviated from the topic and did a picture of me, Martin, and Luke in the car on a road trip, 17 likes, 1 comment.
Insane. But that's exactly it, isn't it? It sounds mental that there's no momentum to kind of go with that. Like
it sounds like, oh, actually, every piece of content stands on its own, which sounds horrible, but actually, if you're really focused, that's great. So 825 likes, then deviated from the topic, 17 likes, then switched back to the topic, 140 likes, 14 comments. So it did go down, but it wasn't exactly the same video. And then 6,500. So it's like, actually, I'm not saying don't post, but if you go really focused on a topic, really down to a niche audience, and you have to kind of map out what do they love consuming. And it's not what they love consuming once. It's what do they love consuming every flipping day. That's when it gets really interesting. Like what do we call it? Retention content. Like if you post stuff that they love doing, like lawnmower videos.
Yeah, the rug cleaning.
Rug cleaning. People love watching them and will watch over and over and over again. And this guy's just narrating cleaning somebody's lawn, and people love it.
Yeah, I've seen loads of them, with whether it's rug cleaning or the gardening videos and things. I was actually in a conversation with a friend of mine over the weekend who is a gardener, and he doesn't do any form of social stuff. I know, and I said to him, it's such an easy market for you, because those before and after videos, or time lapse videos of you doing an entire garden or whatever. It's easy. It's so easy to get views, because people just stare at it for. But I've found myself watching them multiple times in a row, just on repeat, because it's just it tickles a part.
Do you know with those rug cleaning videos that you see? I get addicted to watching these rug cleanings because it's so filthy. I want to see how it comes out. But I also go, how the hell did that rug get to that state?
Yeah. What are they doing to these rugs?
Yeah, like, was that in your house?
They must have dug it out of the landfill or something. There's no explanation to how that can get that dirty. And the same with the gardening ones. How are people leaving their back garden to get to that state?
But it's so, like, there's one guy and he does people's lawns for free. And I reckon, I know why he does people's lawns for free, because the people who will pay him will never let their lawn get that bad. So he goes and looks for the people where their garden's estate and says, I'll do it for free, because it's content.
Yeah.
like literally going, hang on a minute. I just put a camera here, record the whole thing of me mowing somebody's lawn, time lapse it to condense it down, put a voiceover over it. And actually the voiceovers that I see on some of these, it's just like him telling stories.
I mean, I've seen that there's one guy, I don't know whether we're thinking of the same guy, but he'll basically tell the story of how he's spoken to this person. But then maybe a quarter of the way through the video, he'll just go, that's the story. Anyway, enjoy. And then he'll stop talking. And the rest of it's just a time-lapse video. And it's just, but I think that's exactly it. Because if he went to someone who had a lawn who was, let's say their garden was a little bit overgrown, but they'd obviously...
The progress wouldn't be enough to keep it entertaining.
Who's watching that? It's just the trimmed, someone trimming a hedge. It's not anywhere near it.
I think with BTB, and I know I'm guilty of this, maybe it's because I'm not a very good dancer or whatever, but of forgetting that people are actually consuming content, not just for like insights. It's not like I'm sitting around either Financial Times every time. People sometimes just like content because it's like entertaining.
Well, that's I would argue is the main purpose of most content. Obviously, there's a place for educational content. There absolutely is, but a lot of people will look for that. Whereas the content that you're going to get pushed is never going to be stuff that you're kind of, looking for on an educational level. It's always stuff that you find entertaining. Like if you like, I obviously, when in the nature of my role, I search for a lot of things on social media of like
your feeds must be screwed.
It's crazy. I mean, it's a lot. It's mostly you. It's mostly you, especially with like my YouTube Shorts is. I guarantee if I went on my YouTube Shorts now, the first video would be you. And probably the second, third, and fourth.
Well. Let's hope you don't leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll have to.
Endure me forever.
Yeah, I'll have to get rid of it somehow. But I think that's exactly the thing that content is supposed to be entertaining, even if it's educational. It still has to have some level of entertainment value to it, because otherwise, why would people watch it? People would just Google the answer.
And you know what? I'm so guilty of constantly thinking, I need to provide more value. And I think that's become like a big trap for me. And it's probably a trap for other people as well. Is like when you're sat there going, I've got to deliver for this audience all the time, it becomes draining mentally. Like, I don't know what else to say. I've said everything. And you sat there going, what more can I possibly say? And then you think, well, the first part is, dimensions. Like, okay, I've said this, but how can I put a new spin, a different angle, package it up in a different format, a different story, all of those bits. But then there's also like, could I just tell somebody a funny story about a situation or something that happened? Like, it doesn't have to be mind-blowing insights all the time. Just making people chuckle and go, that was kind of funny, and it passed the time a little bit, is enough.
That's still value. It's a different kind of value. But it's still very valuable, arguably more so on certain platforms. Obviously, the amount of stuff we do on LinkedIn, it's kind of its own kind of world a little bit. But then the other platforms, like there is no one who is going on to TikTok with the sole purpose of finding out how to get clients.
No.
That's people don't go to TikTok for that. They might go to YouTube for it. They might go to LinkedIn for it, even Instagram. But TikTok, people find the videos because they are sort of scrolling endlessly and you kind of forget you're there for a little bit and your brain goes a bit numb and you're just sort of not even watching what you're watching and until something grabs you.
Do you know, I was studying a TikTok strategy, and maybe I should have not talked about this today and maybe done it in a meeting, but it's on my head now, and you know what I'm like, is that you find the top performing TikTok videos and not just like do a reaction to it, but actually use the same exact hook, same exact everything, but just say what you think about that topic. So in other words, and people don't do this very much. It's not copying. It's like, that's already worked. Can I take the first 4 seconds of the hook of that, make my video use it? Because we've been testing this actually. that if you can hold people for a certain amount of time, statistically they're going to watch the rest of the video. So on YouTube, on a video, is if you can get them past 30 seconds, they're going to watch the whole video. If you can get them past 5-6 seconds on maybe a short, you can probably keep them for the whole video. Is you actually look for that person did a video, and that video was 36 seconds. They did a hook that was 4 seconds. I'll use the exact same hook, but do my spin on the back end. You'll probably get similar results.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose that negates the need for a lot of the testing because someone else has done it for you, essentially.
Yeah, you're basically piggybacking on their testing to basically make your video. So don't copy and say their thing word for word. Yeah. But actually, the magic of most videos is that first however many seconds that you just go, right, you see why I should have said this privately, right? Because this is something we can do. Just go and grab a video about how to get clients on LinkedIn, take the hook that has performed for somebody else, replicate the hook, but then the back end of what you're going to say, totally different. Or your spin, you know what I mean?
I suppose you could even, while it's specifically TikTok we're talking about, you could even stitch the videos together and literally use their hook and then add your bit onto it.
Yeah, so like a reaction video. Yeah. So take we've got work to do now, right? But literally take the front end of the video. A lot of people, the Justin guy, remember, did I tell you about the Justin guy? He takes funny, weird videos, cuts their video, takes the first few seconds of their videos and then goes, listen, or does a quick reaction. I'm like, you could do exactly the same. There's a guy who does it about science and flat earthers. He takes a clip from the flat earthers video and then debunks it. That's just a simple thing that anybody could do. And you don't have to have like slick production. You could just, my TikTok that I've just got 9,000 views on with 6 videos. It's all me filming on my phone in one take, just ranting. And they perform because all of the effort is on the first few seconds. Yeah. And I think that is, for me, it's like, actually, it doesn't matter to a degree what's on the back end of the video. No, it does, but how it's done.
Still, obviously, that's what keeps people there longer, but you're still going to see an upturn of the initial if the hook's strong. But it's not just the strength of the hook, but it's, especially given the nature of this new TikTok account, it's they're provocative. So you're immediately sparking some.
I want opinions. Yeah. And you have to kind of design. You don't have to like say ridiculous shit, but you do have to design to elicit opinions. And that's not just, oh, what do you think? It's like, I think this, but what about this? You've got to like stir the pot.
Yeah. Well, you could, you wouldn't do it, but if you wanted to see if it worked, you absolutely could say ridiculous shit and it would absolutely.
Andrew Tate has proven that, hasn't he? Yeah. Say absolutely audacious, ridiculous stuff. And the spectacle of what he says goes viral because people are going, he said what?
Yeah, it's just good old fashioned rage baiting. That's all it is. Even if you say something that you know is nonsense, people are going to know it's nonsense, so they will tell you it's nonsense, and then those comments will drive the video up, and then you can just be known as the guy that says ridiculous stuff, which obviously is never everyone's first choice.
Don't try and sell something off the back of doing ridiculous stuff, though.
Yeah, you'll never be trusted. But the issue with it is that does work in terms of getting views, and that it's a method that 100% works all the time.
It's like, have you seen these people on also who do stuff where they deliberately pronounce words wrong?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. I'm not a commenter online at all. I never have been. I probably never will be. I'm not someone that can be bothered to share my thoughts because I suppose I don't value them myself. So why would anyone else care what I have to say on a video? But that is the closest I've ever come when someone pronounces something wrong, and like you want to comment because you want to say, I know what you're doing.
But that's what they want you to do.
Then they won. So you can't say it, but it's so frustrating.
There's a guy who does top restaurants in Miami. Yeah. And it's like, Miami, you mean Miami? Yeah. And at that moment, it's like, no, you're playing me, right? But there's another guy, I think he's a bit of a knob personally, Joseph Valente.
Yeah.
He was in BBC Apprentice. I think I've met him a couple of times, but online he is an absolute knob. And he went and did a video and he talked about EBITDA, EBITDA, about £100 million business. And we want to be, 10 million EBITDA. And what his TikToks and videos did not perform until he started doing the whole EBITDA thing. And then everybody started to comment EBITDA, mocking him, massively elevated his videos. And it looks stupid. The question is, can he pivot away from it, or has he basically made himself a meme? Can he get out of that? And I'm not sure, because he is a bit 1980s salesman in the way he comes across. I'm sure he's got a great business because he's been around for a long time, but he's memed himself. And he did one the other day that Samuel Leeds actually copied him, which is a good sign because Samuel Leeds is big on YouTube. But Joseph Valente did this video where basically he got a parking ticket on his car, Range Rover, of course, right? And he said, it's just VIP parking, right? And everybody was like, you knob, and all this kind of stuff in the comments. It was like, okay, right? But it went nuts. And then Samuel Leeds got the bus lane, and he said it's the VIP express lane, right? And it's like, they're just being knobbish, but they're actually getting attention for it.
Of course they are.
And some people have complained about Samuel Leeds because he has gone quite baity now. Like he staged evicting a tenant to get attention, and the comments went wild, but it got 800,000 views.
Of course, yeah.
And I don't know where, the tactics kind of compromise, because, if you do amass a big audience and big engagement, can you pivot it and flip it? And the answer is yes, of course. But for most people trying to do that, like Samuel Leeds has made his money. He's made a lot of money. Joseph Valente has made a lot of money. So they can afford to play and go, let's see what happens. But if you've not got the resources to throw at this, like how many videos do we put out a week? Roughly?
Per platform,
Just total, roughly.
It's probably somewhere between 5 and 8 a week on the main channel, and then on all platforms.
Total videos.
Total videos. 90
pieces of content. If you were trying to do that as a solopreneur, that wouldn't work. This is like next tier. Yeah. Do the thing to make the money, get the system to make the money, and then go next tier. How do we get that wider attention from a market? Start with a niche, build a niche, get that working, then go, how do I scale this out and build this out? And that's what we're doing now, really, isn't it? We've got the kind of money-making bit done. It's like, how do we now amass the broader, wider attention?
Yeah, I think that's, a lot of what we talk about is obviously targeted for business owners and people who don't necessarily have the same resources as we do to throw at this. So I think this is kind of almost completely unexplored for ourselves as well. This is something that we're working out as we go along, which is obviously with the nature of the ever-changing plane that is social media. It's always stuff you haven't done before, because if you've done it before, it was with a different algorithm, with a different platform, whatever else. So nothing ever stays the same. So I think this whole sort of kind of a brand piece that we've been doing, trying to push the brand as far as we can, has been interesting to say the least, because I think it really shows the difference between a lot of the platforms. But the one thing that remains consistent is that if you piss people off, as well. That's the one thing.
Do you remember when we staged that podcast video?
Oh my God.
So for those of you either watching or listening, one of the biggest things that people do is they stage podcasts, because you need those clips. And let's be honest, right? It's really hard talking to camera. Like 5 tips to do this. Yeah. It's actually really hard to do them. And I always go off script. And so I'll go massively off script and then I can't follow the script and look at the camera. I just find it hard. But what I did find easy was just talking to somebody else. And so what we would do, and a lot of people do this, is they will basically pretend to be on a podcast. This is a real podcast, right, Tom? Just before you...
I am here, I am.
Right. So they would stage a podcast, right? And when we did this, we got the camera angle slightly wrong. And I wasn't that comfortable either in doing that kind of, the way we set it up. It was rushed, a little bit rushed, but we were trying to get it out. And we put up the video and literally all the comments were bros talking to nobody.
Talking to all his friends and all that sort of stuff, yeah. Yeah, it's obviously there was a subtlety that we missed on that particular one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but so many people do it, and why not? Because so many people consume podcasts. I mean, I listen to, in terms of separate episodes of podcasts, 4 or 5 a week, and they're all at least an hour long, sometimes 2, even longer. It's a lot of content. It's a hell of a lot of content.
Yeah.
And that is definitely how I personally, and I know a lot of people would be the same, that's how I consume probably the most of my content. You know, I do occasionally scroll through TikTok, but I'm not a huge TikTok user, if I'm honest. So if I see a clip on TikTok of a podcast, I'll definitely watch that one.
And
That's what I'm used to.
there's almost like this instant authority of, if you're sat by a microphone, you must have something important to say.
Yeah. It's exactly the same context. Some of the videos that we put out, if we do a video of you at an event, or if you're speaking on a stage in front of people,
They do well.
it has exactly the same effect, because it's that authority piece that people think, oh, there's other people. I can literally see people listening to what he has to say, so I should listen to what he has to say. And that's kind of the whole message, just with that immediate sort of couple of seconds.
And what's really weird for me is when we look at my videos, I think the general trend is the videos where I'm talking to camera do worse than the videos when I'm not talking to camera.
Yeah.
And somebody in the YouTube comments now says, if this clip get out there, it's your face.
Yeah, of course.
But I found that fascinating, that actually the videos that are not produced for that method do better than me, you know, literally going, we're doing a short, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. They seem to do worse than the ones where it's just like, oh, we found this little soundbite in a talk you did in Bristol, so we're going to cut that up.
Yeah, but I think that's it almost feels like you're being told a secret when you listen to clips like that, and then you've found like a 15-second snippet of a hour podcast or whatever it might be, and it really sort of resonates with you. Go, I was almost meant to see that. Like, that's obviously with my algorithm, whatever. That's come to me because I was meant to listen to that, and you can kind of, with the authority piece and everything, it's like, oh, you know, I should listen to this person. But when it's, you know, someone, you know, with the lists and whatever, and the gimmicky edits and whatever in a YouTube video, that's all been done. There's not a question that you can type into YouTube that doesn't have an answer in terms of a video that is 10 minutes long with someone saying, this is how you do this. So that, I think those days are pretty much gone now. It's more conversational.
And I can't believe it's only been this year that we've actually filmed events.
Yeah, and that's been such an obvious missed trick, I think, because some of there's obviously clips from you doing events previously, but they're obviously just someone's chucked a camera up and sort of hope for the best, and they do well.
But what, 400 quid kit, 400 quid, and I can capture 4 hours of content. You know, you're saying actually we've not got enough content. Yeah. I'm going to do 3 events now this week, so I've got tomorrow and I've got 2 in Manchester. So it's like, I'm going to have tons of content that can clip up from that. Not all, you know, probably 50, 60% of it is not pointless, but actually I'm not sat in a studio having to record it all the time.
Exactly. So in just investing that 400 quid into that kit, you get 3, 4, 5 times the content without actually having to sort of block out your own diary and actually put the time in to go and film it, because you're doing the events anyway. That's a valid point, actually. Yeah.
So I guess we'll talk about this from your point of view, but I'll ask your opinion on it, because obviously as I've got more and more exposure online, I've also attracted unpleasantness as well. I mean, maybe it's different for you because it's not you on the video, but from your point of view, there must have been a moment, because obviously you've been here a year. There must have been a few moments where a video's gone bad and you're thinking, what the hell is he going to say?
It's been more a couple of comments. I think if a video doesn't do well, whether that
I don't care about views anymore. I've got over that.
yeah, that's it's more interesting to see, why is that not done well? But it's when if you get like a bit of backlash, I would say quite fortunate in the sense that we've never really had anyone massively disagree with the point you're making. But we do have, and I don't know who this guy is. I'm going to say the name Nigel to you. And there's a guy on your TikToks, and if we clip this and this finds its way to TikTok.
Nigel.
Hello, Nigel.
Nigel.
It's he's sarcastically quite a great fan of your shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is literally most videos we put out, or obviously whatever video he sees, he always comments something. I think they're he might just be a fan of the shirts, but it comes across as me as a little bit sarcastic. I think, that kind of thing, because it's harmless and, to be fair, often relatively quite funny, he'll comment and then I'll kind of go, oh, what would Dean say? And then it's almost like, but actually he's commented.
Yeah.
And he always comments, and I don't think he follows you. So obviously, because he's commenting, he keeps seeing it.
Yeah.
So it's proof that works.
Nigel, we love you.
Yeah, keep going, Nigel.
I tell you one that I had, right? And you do have to overcome this. Like, people have got so many opinions. Dave did his YouTube videos, and somebody commented, "You're the most boring person on YouTube."
Yeah, that one's more difficult to take a positive out of.
Yeah. Well, actually, we have taken a positive out of it because in our training, we actually teach people how to get over it and use that as a reference.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
But you've seen me when I shave this off, right? I look like weird. I look like a child, right?
Words, not mine.
But you've seen it. I look very different, right? I'd actually love to shave this off now that I've got slimmer. I wonder what I look like without it. Anyway, somebody did a comment the other day, and it was like, I'd shave that off if I were you.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
And it's like, after you've had about 5 or 6 different negative comments over a period, you kind of just get over it and you kind of go, that's life. But if you were newbie, you would probably get really gutted by shit like that and probably think, how's the world going to cave in on you and all this kind of stuff. But it's like, some people are just brutal in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, so and again, I'll probably get stick for this myself, but I in terms of my own social media usage, probably the number one thing I use, apart from Instagram, in terms of where I consume most content, is probably Twitter or X.
Oof.
So
you're used to the brutality.
Yeah, I mean, it's fallen off a cliff in the last, not even since Elon Musk took over, but in the last 6 months, it's just become almost unusable. But some of the stuff that you see on there, like, you can't post anything. There is nothing that you can post that will be safe from hate, where you can be doing brilliant charitable work and you'll get something. It's ridiculous. But I think that's you have to see that, because that will make you realize that it doesn't matter what I do, someone is looking to comment something horrible. And it's just to make themselves feel better, and there's nothing behind it.
If I ever talk about politics on X, it will be about the UK, right? Mm-hmm. Right. I talk about something I'm unhappy with, the winter fuel allowance and what they did right on X, and I'll get a comment about, you should be talking about freeing Palestine, and I'm like, I don't want to get into that because it's a messy situation, and like, why do I have to talk about something that I don't know about?
Yeah, I mean that's the argument, isn't it? That is a topic of conversation that you can't say anything without being wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong. No matter what issue you take there, you are wrong.
We'll all have our own opinions of it, and I certainly have mine, in which I think are 100% correct. But if I voice them, I'll be told by one side of the argument that they're definitely wrong. So it's all subjective online. There is a moral correct answer, but there is also, you know,
I do think though social media has made that situation worse, that everybody thinks they're right.
I think it gives power to everyone to have a voice, and there are definitely some people that shouldn't have a voice.
Ooh, that's very dystopian. No, I think the fact that you can find a bubble that agrees with you is pretty dangerous, because, like, you know, if all I listen to is one side of an argument, I will have a one-sided opinion. Yeah. And it does feel like a little bit like, now, if you don't share my opinion, you're the enemy.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's like,
yeah.
Why have we got like this? Because actually social media feeds us more of what we want, more of what we consume, which is an asset when you're marketing a business. Because if you focus on a topic, you'll get the same viewers coming back. But when it comes to really contentious issues where it's messy, it's not as clear cut, there's two sides, there's all this kind of stuff, it's actually quite dangerous to only see one side.
Massively. I think you've we've seen it whenever we do anything political on TikTok, which we have done. The two sides of the argument that you absolutely see straight away is you'll see the right and the left.
Yeah.
The very far ends of that. You'll very rarely see the people who are kind of more reasonable and can see both sides and actually.
Because that's not entertaining though, is it? That's not, sparking people's opinions.
And also that those people in the middle who can, lean either way, I suppose, and see, the more kind of morally correct option rather than just whatever my agenda is, that's what I'm going to say. Those people don't feel inclined to speak because, again, they're probably.
I'm not diving into this shit show, basically. Yeah. Interestingly, somebody had a right rant at me because I followed Nigel Farage, right? You're one of those reformers. I have never, did you see it? I have never supported or voted for Nigel Farage. They saw I followed Nigel Farage. I also follow the Green Party and the Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives and Labour and all of those other people. I follow them all because I want to hear what they've all got to say. Because I'm the kind of person who goes, oh, the Green Party's got a good idea there. And Conservative got a good idea. I don't, I have an inclination to one side, but actually I think, making our trains public, owned by the public, our energy owned by the public should be better because private companies have made a mess of it. Our water supply shouldn't be owned by private companies because they've made a mess of it. So I can kind of switch between left and right. But somebody comes along and goes, oh, you follow the Green Party, you're just a commie. Gone. It's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome because I think in the video you were talking about, obviously it looks like that might have changed already, but at the time, I think in the video you said that you had predicted that Nigel Farage would be the next Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And at no point did you say you wanted him to be.
No.
But that's what they hear.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they hear his name and someone talking about him in a way that's not completely derogatory, that's support in their head because you're not completely aligned with their complete disregard of anything.
I know we're going off topic here, but the reality is, unless, and it does look like they've cocked it up, but unless Labour cock it up, they're in for 10 years. Yeah. So I was saying, hang on a minute, the traction he's getting, if he can hold his nerve here, they're going to be under the cosh. They're going to be a one-term government.
Yeah.
That's all I was saying. Like, he's got a really good chance here because these guys are messing it up. They're like alienating all these different constituent groups, pensioners. They're not really supporting a lot of the kind of left-wing base. They're doing things that annoys business. So it's like, you got the perfect storm here and this guy's exploiting it. That's all I was saying. And it looks like he could win. It was, oh, you're supporting Farage.
Exactly. But then that's the thing, because the loud people, the people who will comment, largely, or especially on videos like that, political stuff, people who comment online about political stuff will very rarely listen online about political stuff. It's just, I mean, obviously, without saying the word reform, we're talking about a very particular demographic of people on Twitter.
Who feel aggrieved, whether it's right or wrong,
yeah.
they feel aggrieved.
Exactly. And they are not afraid to voice it. Whereas, as I say myself, I'm not a Reform voter. I'm also not a Tory voter, generally speaking. But
I would say the extremes of the left and the right are the most vocal groups.
yeah, absolutely. I'm also not a, complete left, socialist. Like but I think.
But I think most people
of people aren't.
Most people are in the middle.
Yeah.
And the reality is, bringing it back to social media, is the people who get attention are not in the middle of the road. No. Now, it doesn't mean you become Nigel Farage of business coaching or whatever, but it does mean that the middle of the road, no opinions, no values, no stance, no vision, no beliefs, no convictions, puts you in the middle. And what happens when you get that? I don't know what you stand for, so I'm not backing you. I'm not behind you.
Right. It's the it's having and voicing opinions. That's, I think, the big thing, because people can, in whatever sort of line of work or whatever it is that you do online, if you talk about different options and things, and oh, you could do this, you could do that, people want you to just look down a camera or speak into a microphone and say, this is what you need to do. And if you do that, you'd be surprised, because not a lot of people do that. And the people that do that are the ones who do well.
Mm.
That's the big difference. You can give people lots of different options, but people come to you for one thing, and they want you to tell you how to get that one thing, not the different options they have, and it's up to them.
And that leads back to where we started, was if you really focus on one thing, one topic, one niche, whatever, you can build something that actually works, versus trying to appeal to trying to appeal to everybody basically puts you in the middle.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And if you're appealing to everyone, you're not actually maximizing that appeal to anyone, because you're kind of, if you try and appease everybody, you kind of might do a little bit for a lot of people, but you can't be 100% what everyone needs. So you'll be maybe 10% what everyone needs, and no one's going to buy anything from you if you can solve 10% of their problem. So, I mean, that's exactly the message.
Yeah, it is. And we're out of time, Tom.
We are indeed out of time. We've almost overrun.
Cool. Well, Tom, thank you for coming on. Thank you for getting the studio up and running. And you guys, thank you for watching. And Nigel, wherever you are, we love you.
TikTok Nigel, not Farage.
Oh, yeah. No, TikTok Nigel, the guy who comments on my shirts, not Nigel Farage.
Yeah.